And here we go.
In 5, 4, 3.
Call to me, lands far away.
Elves have forests to protect.
We need to build a wall.
Dwarfs their mines. Men their fields of grain. But we Harfoots have each other.
For I must now wander this wandering day.
We're safe.
You have fought long enough, Galadriel.
No.
Put up your sword.
The enemy is still out there. The question now is where?
It is over.
Nothing is over! Nothing! You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them!
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Darkness will march over the face of the earth. It will be the end, not just of our people, but all peoples.
Everyone! I am sorry, but their time has come.
The past is with us all. The past is dead. We either move forward or we die with it.
This could be the beginning of a new era.
Away I must wander this wandering day.
To him finally being lionized in the prime and his prime. Fuck.
Do it!
Shit.
Just do it! Don't let your dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true!
Luke went from being, oh no. Welcome, Slayer Nation. I have some great news for you today. I hope you're all doing great. Nope, that didn't work. One more.
You have failed me for the last time.
Welcome, Slayer Nation. I hope.
If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up.
That is eating away at what you love in order for it to shine. And one man's vision is... Sometimes you don't have to make things better for them to be great again. You merely have to Okay. Hollywood continues to slow boil the culture and crazy. Well, right now, Spider-Man actor Andrew Garfield has stepped up and he's fighting motherfucker.
I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
And unbearded dwarves, but Prime didn't stop there. They stapled in intersectionality, individuality, biddiga-dig-bee, biddiga-dig-boo.
So it begins.
At my signal, unleash hell.
and gentlemen, George the Giant Slayer.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Slayer Unchained, and I'm your host, George Molo. It's January 15, 2025, in the year of our Lord, and it is great to be back. How y'all doing today? It's Texas is getting another hit of that Arctic blast, so it's kind of a little cold, but I like chili. Chili is nice, you know, because it's like I've always told my family and friends. It's like in the summertime, you can't do anything about it. You can crank up the AC. The only thing you can do to get cooler is strip down to your undies. That's it. But, you know, in the winter when it's nice and crisp and cool and a little bit of hail, a little bit of snow outside, you can just put more clothes on, more layers. And that's a beautiful thing. You can warm up, but you can't cool down. Anyway, it's good to see you all. We got Donna Hergenrethers here, Adam's Aunt, Roar. Plus, we also got Eric K, King of the Mods, and Lord Thoth, another incredible human being and a wonderful mod. Who else? Josh Hammond. How you doing, my friend? Rick. It's good to see you. Nix W. And me. So we're going to bring you all the facts and have a little fun today. But we're also going to cover some news. We're going to talk about the California wildfires, which, of course, keep raging on because of bad DI policies. But right after that, it's like a roaster's paradise. You got studios who are having daydreams or hitting the recycle bin. Actors open up their big mouths. You got political circus acts, confirmation hearings. You got environmental hypocrisy. And then you got elite idiocy. And they all deserve the full Slayer treatment. So we're going to fuel up those flamethrowers and let's get roasting. I'm going to bring them out now. My good friend Dante from the Verbal Riot Show, and Tom from Midnight's Edge and Midnight's Edge After Dark. How you doing, gentlemen?
Doing good, man. Good to see you, boys.
I'm happy to see you, man. Happy to see you. I haven't seen you Verbal in a while, since actually before New Year. Doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing better, man. I could breathe now, finally. Last week was rough, man. I don't know what was. I mean, look, I live in California. We have fires every year. This isn't something new. I mean, this is new in the way that it did more damage because of the wind. But we have fires every single year. But there was just something different about this one, man, as far as just the air quality. There was something toxic in the air, man. Like most people I know besides myself, we all had trouble breathing last week, man. Like my lungs were just hurting.
Like burning?
Like just like you inhale and you just feel pain, you know, like from the whatever was in the air. So just the fact that I can breathe now is a blessing I'll take.
Oh, thank God. I'm glad you're here. Well, Happy New Year. I haven't seen you since then. It's still got fires going on. I guess we'll just tackle the fires first thing, because we have some things to talk about Hollywood. And
by the way, we're only 15 days into this year, so I feel like that needs to be said, right?
15 days into the year, and it's already gotten crazy. But 5 days away from the MAGA King's return. 5 days.
5 days till the inauguration.
5 days. Volume. You want the volume up? The volume is going up. Jose Taco Estafobos, how you doing? Now, I want to share with you, since we're going to kick off talking about the wildfires, I want to share with you a friend of mine, a best friend of mine, a brother, I call him, since elementary school. His wife, an incredible human being, she was talking about the fires this weekend on ABC Australia. And just listening to her break it down, because I haven't heard that many. You hear politicians, I've heard actors, talked to a lot of my friends. But when you get an actual resident, somebody who grew up in the area, it's poignant.
Let's return to our top story then, the awful wildfires in California. I want to introduce you to Lisa Cusack, who is a Pacific Palisades resident who lost her home in the fires, and she joins us now live. Lisa, hi there. So sorry for your loss. How are you?
Thank you. I mean, we're in shock and very sad. It was actually my childhood home, and everything is gone. My parents got out with just photo albums and nothing else. And it was like watching my childhood burn down.
When did your parents, the people around them, and you realize that it was going to be a serious situation?
Not until Tuesday afternoon. The house is in a neighborhood, an area where My mom literally made the comment, we're fine. The whole Palisades would have to burn down for the fire to get to us, which it did. And so as my parents were evacuating, they were driving through walls of flames up and down a street called Temescal, which leaves Pacific Palisades. And by that point, the neighborhood was starting to burn.
Just awful. And the pictures that are coming back from this area are heartbreaking. Have you been back and had a look? What did you see?
It's just burned to the ground. And the eerie thing about our particular street is that right across the street, the houses are fine. But on our street, it looks like bombs have been dropped during a war and a town has just been destroyed in 2 days. It's apocalyptic.
And speaking to other people.
Would you describe it that way, Verbal? Because you've been talking about it when we were on the phone. You're saying apocalyptic. We'll get back to it in a second.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it looked, man. There was a day, I mean, I think the day, probably the second day of the fire, I remember walking outside and, you know, the sun was out, but you couldn't see it. I mean, it was just black here, man, because of the smoke, you know, and every now and then, when the smoke moved, you saw a little bit of the sun, and you could see that technically it was supposed to be a very clear day that day. So yeah, it was kind of apocalyptic, and you could see the fires. I mean, from where, you know, I stand, you could see them. So I mean, now I live closer to downtown LA, so I mean, I'm more in the heart of the city, so I wasn't really worried about the fires reaching me. But they were close enough, man. Hollywood was burning. So
yeah, I've heard that Sunset is gone.
Yeah, like Upper Sunset really got lit up, man. So I mean, that was crazy. Like that's as close as those kind of fires have ever gotten to me. Because I mean, yeah, I live somewhat close to Malibu, but not close enough to where the fires would ever reach over here. But the Hollywood fire was kind of a surprise.
Thank God. Let's see what else she says.
People around who were going back as well, Lisa. I mean, the grief in that community must be palpable.
Palisades is a multi-generational, tight-knit community. Some of my best friends today I've known since kindergarten in Pacific Palisades, and almost everyone I know has lost their family home. It's devastating. It wasn't just houses. It was an entire community that was wiped out in a couple of days. And everything we knew, the community theater we would go to, the Starbucks we would walk up to, it's just gone. It's just burned to the ground.
And where are people going? As you say, it was your family home, your parents managed to get out, but are there big centers where people can go if they've got nowhere to stay, if they need clothes, of course, and food?
Yeah, I mean, people are literally having to buy clothes or get clothes donated. Most people I know are going to families' houses or Airbnbs, or they're just finding places wherever they can. And yes, I mean, literally people just grabbed a few items of clothing and ran. There was a school where the fire came so close so quickly that they literally had to grab the kids and run down to the ocean. That's how quickly this fire spread. So I think people are just trying to find wherever they can stay to get away.
It's crazy. And then you had at the very same time, you have people like Tyler Perry who are blaming the insurance companies for the fire. They're blaming the insurance companies for the devastation and for the lack of management. And you got Bill Burr, who decided that last night was a great time to announce his Hulu series special.
Yeah. No, as far as the insurance companies, man, that's a whole nother story. Like that they didn't start the fires, but they screwed a lot of people.
Yeah, I know. I've been looking into that.
They screwed a lot of people.
I've been looking into that, and I've been trying to find out who and why and what's been going on. And
from what I could tell, what I gathered was they wanted to be able to raise their rates. Newsom said no. They decided, well, we're going to pull out of California. We're going to move our business elsewhere. So they did that. But in also doing that, somehow legally, they were able to deny the claims of the people in California because they no longer deal, or they're no longer here in California, which I don't know how that's legal when, if I've been paying you every year, every month, right? Like faithfully, how do you get away with not paying me my money once my house burns, right? Like that I don't get.
That's what I'm looking into, because what I've seen so far is like, look, California as a state, it has its number one responsibility. Its constitutional requirement is to what? Is to protect its citizens' lives, the people's lives and property. All state and State Farm, their number one job is to make profits. We know that. But the problem is just like what you said, Allstate and State Farm were complaining that they were not able to raise their prices to meet their risk burden. And the state's like, okay, we're not going to allow you to do that. Go away. They said, look, you're not building fire access roads. You're not filling the reservoirs. You've cut the fire department's budget. Look at the risk we're managing. Now, this isn't an excuse for them, but we're talking about a private company, which is, again, owned by who? When an insurance company makes those payments, it's not coming out of the government's pocket. It's coming out of the people, like you said, who are paying into it. The only thing I haven't been able to find out is the question you asked. Why is it legal that they were able to pull out? Other than that, it's the state's responsibility. I don't like the fact that they were able to cancel those policies. That's the bullshit to me.
Yeah, and it's and honestly, it might have to go to something bigger, man. Like it might have to go to like a Supreme Court. Like it might have to be, because here's the thing. It's one thing when you're dealing with common folk, right? It's like these big companies feel like, well, we could just bully them around. We have our lawyers. They can't afford to keep, fighting us. It's a different story, though, when a majority of the houses that burnt were rich folk who can't afford to fight you in court, along with the state of California. So it kind of makes me wonder, like, how far this is going to go, because there are a lot of claims, man, that have been denied.
Right.
A lot. So, I mean, I don't know.
But you know what else I discovered is the insurance companies were complaining. Again, we're laying out the facts here. You're going to have to decide which side you fall on. I think there's bad on both sides. The insurance companies were complaining that the bureaucracy was not allowing them. There aren't enough homes, they say, in California. There's not enough single dwellings, single family dwellings, single home dwellings. And so they're like, we have to cover this artificially expensive.
Well, no, George, there are many single family homes here. Like they're tripping, man. The thing is, like, most people just can't afford them.
Right, but they're saying they're artificially the prices are sky high because they do not have enough to match the need.
Sure.
When
No,
you
I
have
get it.
millions, yeah, but that's what they're saying. You got millions of illegals pouring in. You need to be building homes for everyone. We've talked about this before, the homeless crisis. Part of it is economic, part of it is mental health care.
And which, by the way, the homeless could be the reason why these fires even started in the first place.
Correct.
During the winter, it's not uncommon for homeless people here to burn barrels and to make fires, because it does get cold in California, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I live there. Yeah, I know. I understand. What
It can get cold, and yeah, the homeless people burn things to stay warm. There's a solid chance that they're the reasons why this happened. Now, I'm not going to sit there and blame homeless people, because who knows?
Nobody knows
But
at this point.
it's not. It has to be put into the equation.
I got you. But then you get a news article that came out today. Let me just pull it up. That the fire department, where did it go? The fire department took 40 minutes in order to respond. It was like 40 minutes to be able to respond.
Which, by the way, I got to say this, George. They did know. They knew about the winds, and they knew about like the risk of this kind of thing happening. They knew ahead of time.
Yeah, but that's insane.
And the response was still garbage.
That's insane. That's even worse. That's even worse.
Karen Bass went on a trip to Africa.
No, I know that, but when you put all the facts together, because there were a few people that commented over the weekend, over on when we did Slayer Nation, they were like, "I think you're getting your facts all screwed up. You're talking about the the MAGA, the Republican talking points." And I'm like, it's right there. All you have to do is go take a look at it. So right here, what do we have? We have resident firefighters did not respond to Palisades fire for 44 minutes. Firefighters only responded 44 minutes after a prominent Pacific Palisades resident called 911 on Tuesday morning, January 7th, by which time the Palisades fire had begun burning out of control in high winds. By when you and I were talking, and I talked to a couple other people, I think it was Robert, he was like, the winds were so high, up to almost 80 to 95 miles an hour, sometimes hitting 100. When you combine that with the fire, it's almost like a tornado of fire.
Oh, absolutely. And look, man, what's weird to me is when these winds were happening, for some reason, I didn't feel it. I didn't see it. I wasn't outside, so I had no idea the winds were that harsh. But apparently, these are probably the strongest winds, from what I've heard, the strongest winds that we've had like in probably decades. So, like no one could prepare for it. Look, they couldn't prepare for it in the way of they didn't know how much damage was going to be done, but they knew it was coming.
Right. It's about management. I mean, fires are going to happen. It's Mother Nature. Mother Nature has been trying to kill us since the dawn of time. I said it on Sunday. Our survival is the exception. Mother Nature will always try to kill you. Period. End of statement. The reality is it's how it's managed. You know, there haven't been fire roads built
right because
15 years. 15 years.
We have fires every year here in California. Right. That's like our thing. Earthquakes and wildfires.
It's nuts. Let me see if we've got a couple of questions here. It's the Phobos for $2. Hey, meth doesn't cook itself. He's talking about the homeless. Okay.
That's true. That is true.
Thank you, Mr. Phobos, for that.
It does not cook itself.
Mouse World 666 gifted 5 George the Giant Slayer memberships. Bless you, Mouse World. I hope you're doing well. Can't wait to see you on the member stream this Saturday. It's going to be a good one. Thank you, Mouse World. And now we got Bill Burr, who picked the perfect time to announce last night that he was going to have a Hulu special because, you know, while everybody is trying to pick up what's left of their life, having lost everything, why not?
It's very good to see you. I heard you had to evacuate your home.
Yes. Like most people, I had to. I got lucky, you know, the winds moved, but, you know, the fire was coming and all that stuff. So I feel lucky.
Are you guys back in?
And I think everybody did a great job.
Yeah.
Unlike the internet, you know?
Yeah, right. I know. It's right.
You know, that part, bad take. Bill Burr, I mean, talk about how being a class A roaster, a satirist, somebody who would always roast stupid. And this man just proves the point that if you're a celebrity that lives in LA long enough, you cuck yourself. I mean, he went from hardcore roaster to a softie. Well, what the hell was that? I mean, he's talking about the fact that they did a great job. We just showed everybody. 44 minutes till they responded. Reservoirs dried up. Fire hydrants, no water. People filling them up, filling up fire trucks from homes, from garden hoses. But yeah, Bass did a great job. You see that DEI firefighter, Verbal?
I'm sorry, the what?
Did you see the clip of the DEI firefighter? Tom had shared it with me this weekend. I hadn't seen it before. And I was
Are you talking about the fire chiefs or the
what it's supposed to be the assistant chief of diversity?
Is that the one that looks most like a man?
I thought it. I didn't know. Was it a man?
I do honestly, like there's one of the black one. I can't tell if that's a man or a woman.
I'm pretty sure it was a woman at one time.
I couldn't.
And I just got to push back a little bit on the Bill Burr thing because he's always been a little bit on the line of
which
wonky, whiny, woke.
Okay.
So
that's true.
But he always roasts stupid. That's his shtick.
Sometimes, but he sometimes also falls into the he really does when it comes to I don't want to lose my job kind of bullshit. Like even with Gina, we gave him a few pats on the back for some of that, but he kind of waffled around some of that shit too, because you could tell he didn't want to lose his jobs.
Really? It's just I'm not used to it with him. Everything I've ever seen from the man, it's always been like he takes it to dumb. It's like if there's dumb, you're gonna hear Bill Burr just lay it away. So I was a little shocked, but I'm glad you brought that up. I'm trying to find where the hell did I put her? Did I just get rid of her completely? Hold on one second. It's got to be here somewhere, that video I wanted to share with everyone. Oh, by the way, you heard about, what was it, Bonnie Blue is her name?
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
You know, at this point, man, I kind of feel like we're in this weird realm, right?
Twilight Zone.
We're in this realm of it's not even like about sex. It's not even about like sex appeal. Right. It's almost like we're watching like two like pro athletes go at it, right? We have Lily, what's her name, and then we have Bonnie Blue, right? Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue, right? It's kind of like the Sammy Sosa and Maguire of sexcapades, right? It's who's going to be the home run champion, right? Who's going to get the most dicks in a day?
Are you saying that Bonnie Blue? Wait a minute. Is the high heel girl of Ho Ho Sports?
That's what this is, man. That's exactly what this is. We're watching it for the spectacle. We're not watching it because it's hot. We're not watching it because it's sexy, right? We're not going to get off watching this stuff. We're watching it because it's a spectacle, and we want to see who wins.
Right, but you
right?
understand she turned her coochie into a sail in a matter of minutes. I mean,
clearly
neither of these girls will ever be right again. They'll never be right again.
And nearly Neil Gaiman is not hanging out with the right kind of women. I mean, he just needs to meet these chicks.
We were going to talk about Gaiman. Gaiman, oh my God. You know, there have been reports about Gaiman since last summer. And wow, I read the entire article. I don't even think we can read half of it on the air. Talk about somebody who likes to play, master with his ball gag. But yeah, here is oh my, you didn't read that? Did you? You didn't read that verbal?
Oh no, yeah. I used to really like Neil Gaiman. I was a big fan of the Sandman.
Long time ago. The man is like, worship me, promise me your soul.
Yeah, no. All the guys who I used to really kind of look up to back in those days, him, Alan Moore. The facade is kind of worn off these guys for me. It's like, look, at this point, you guys are just bitter old men.
Yeah. But what the hell is in
can't.
the water? What the hell is in the water that celebrities drink? We got Army Hammer, the cannibal, and then you got Neil Gaiman, who's walking around with a ball gag telling women to, I can't even find an appropriate way to say it. No, I'm not going to do it.
I don't think there is one, man, to be honest with you.
Not going to do it. And then you got Bonnie Blue, the high heel hoe of Olympic sports for sex.
This is what my face looks like after taking 1,000.
Yeah, what's your coochie look like? Yeah, it's no
destroyed.
I told
yeah, of course.
Girls, taking fluids for moisturizer was good for your skin. The big 1,000 was completely done. So it started off, I'll give you a bit of an overview. After to start with, it was just like the room was absolutely full. Then we did groups of 5, like one after the other of 5s. I wanted to give people more time, so then it went down to like one-on-ones, didn't it? So like one person would watch whilst I was with somebody, and then it would literally just
right. Okay, yeah, just Sodom and Gomorrah.
But who are these guys, man? Who are these guys waiting their turn in line, right? Like,
I did the math. She slept because she wanted to make the Guinness World Book of Records, which I didn't even know that they would qualify that.
So how many seconds did they get?
42 seconds a person. When you average it out, she slept with 1,056 men
in 12 hours, not 24 hours, in 12 hours.
Yeah, I think it came out, unless my math is wrong, it was like 40 plus seconds per dude.
So that means for Lily Phillips to beat that record.
40 seconds.
So Lily Phillips has to go 1,001 to beat that record, right?
Yeah. Sydney Watson asked a good question yesterday. It was on X, and she's like, it was basically, she was posing this rhetorical question. Like, a lot of people, they're slagging off Bonnie Blue. She's like, I get it, but what about the guys? And I was like, so I wrote, it's all character in life is the only thing that counts. Character counts, nothing else, because you don't own anything in life, really. I don't care how rich you are, anything can be taken away from you. The only thing in life you truly own that's yours to give away is your name, your character. I mean, someone could put a pistol to your head, do anything, but it's still your choice. You may not like the consequences, but it's yours. No one can rob you of that. But when it comes down to it, I'm like, you got two sides of the same sleazy coin. The woman,
it's like
the dude's funding it.
It's like Scarface said, man. The only thing you got is your word and your balls. In this world. And look. I'm a little I'm kind of unsympathetic when it comes to this, man, because honestly, I feel like none of the guys who participate in this gets a pass from me.
No,
right? Like there is no reason for you to have been waiting your turn, dick in hand, waiting your turn in line for 42 seconds to bang this chick.
And for what? What's the point of it? I mean, what would be the point? A bragging right of some sort? Like, I was trying to put myself.
Who would you brag to, though?
I know, but that's what I'm saying. What would be the point of it to sleep with her? I mean, come on. After all those, it's like to catch something, to put a notch on a bed. Like, what would be the actual?
This is the dumbest thing ever, because honestly, if somebody wants to impress me, find me a guy who can get 1,000 women to sleep with him.
There you go.
In a day. Now
there you go.
That's impressive.
That's impressive, because if that guy can stay hard for that long.
Well, not just that, just to find that amount of women that are willing to do it with one guy. Unless it's Henry Cavill, good fucking luck.
Yeah,
wasn't that Gene Simmons? No.
Did he? I know Will Chamberlain. Well, no.
Will Chamberlain, like they slept
not in one day.
Not one day, yeah, but
not in one day, yeah.
Thousands of women. Anyway, talking about women, here is.
But no, I didn't derail that part.
No, you didn't. Yeah. You were right, absolutely.
No, I mean it's kind
of. So now, of course,
I think Will Chamberlain had 10,000 under his belt. I think so.
10,000. Hold on, I think we got something here from Blitzen. Came in gifted 10 George the Giant Slayer memberships. Thank you, Blitzen. Beautiful soul, Blitzen. Thank you, everybody. Please go thank Blitzen. God bless you. See, we're off. We're off in the gifting races. This is how we do it at Slayer Nation. We're going to a lot of great places this year. Great surprises coming for Slayer Nation and Slayer Unchained. And we got Graph Web back, the most passionate, dedicated person I know on the internet. Graph Web for $2. Great Merlin's beard canceled. Disney Plus.
Here.
Absolutely. Especially, I think I asked you the other day, real quick. I'm derailing it now. I keep hearing how good Skeleton Crew is, but it seems to be bombing.
Well, because from what I heard, it's good with the understanding of low expectations, right?
Okay.
Like, it's good compared to The Acolyte. It's good compared to Kenobi. Though that doesn't mean anything, though, right? Like, and look, it could be a fine children's show, but that's the problem, is that it's a children's show, man. And from what I heard, like very young kids, like we're talking like 4 to 9, right?
Oh, you're not talking about 15. You're not talking about.
Oh, no. It's a show for little kids. Now, it doesn't mean you can't enjoy it, but it's just understand that's what you're going into.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch it. That's kind of like out of my.
You know what it is, man. The weird we always joke and we talk about how Star Wars is dead. It's dead. Like now officially, and it's dead. And I say that because now no one's talking about it.
Yeah.
No one, right? Not even the haters. No one's talking about it. It's dead. No one cares anymore.
The apathy. I mean, you're right about that. Except for a couple of people that I know, nobody's really talking about it online.
Very few people, man.
You don't see reviews. You don't see reviews or
dude, even the Shields aren't talking about it.
They're embarrassed. Oh, wow. Talking about women, maybe.
Question mark.
Yeah, question. Yeah, maybe.
Because I don't know if that's a woman, dude, or a man. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, don't know.
You want
that is
somebody...
Pat.
It responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person.
Let me ask you a question. I don't want someone to look like me. I just want someone to be able to put out the damn fire and rescue anyone. That's it. I don't care if they look like me. I don't care if they look like a zebra, a Martian, just.
Dude, I want my firefighters to look like the fucking Rock, okay?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want them to look nothing like me. I want them to be 6'5", can carry 500 pounds on their back. That's what I want to see in a firefighter.
Exactly. But this whole thing. And then you have Bill Burr going, they did everything right.
A little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Bitch, I'm so sorry. That came out of nowhere. I was like, what are you talking about? That fires the way they work.
And she said that like she wasn't on camera. I'm like,
no.
What?
Again, fires are unpredictable when they happen. You mean that the husband put himself in the wrong place? How do you know he wasn't trying to evacuate his family and the roof fell on him?
But also, could you ever imagine if a cop ever said, oh, well, could I have saved her? I don't know. She shouldn't have been wearing what she was wearing. you know, and she probably wouldn't have gotten, you know, like it's the equivalent of that, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. That's why when I go back to Lisa Cusick, and you're starting to see the picture we're building here. We're going from all around it. You have the celebrities making their comments. You got the that was the assistant chief of diversity for the Los Angeles Fire Department, by the way. Whatever, Pat.
Chief of diversity, God.
Could you imagine that growing up? Yeah, you're going to work for a job to become assistant chief of diversity. Nick the Greek, how you doing, my friend? Yasu said for $5 says if my firefighter has to be a woman, then let it be Sydney Sweeney. At least I'll die happy. Here, here.
Yeah, but she'll be all covered up, so.
Oh, but he's thinking fantasy-wise, you know, like Playboy with, you know, the tank on the back, the suspenders.
Exactly.
That's what he's thinking. He's
She's
not
wearing
going
just the fire hat and lingerie, right?
Basically. You know, she's Superwoman coming in to save you with one hand where she grabs you underneath, and it's, you know what I'm talking about.
I mean, you know, if I had to have a dying image, that's the one.
Yeah. And then we had this, of course, which a lot of people don't, you know, there are some people who obviously have a part of my channel. I cover Harry and Meghan, and people always ask me, why do you cover Harry and Meghan? And I'm like, because they've been around for years. I only started covering them when they entered into the cultural realm and the pop cultural realm, because they were trying to bring their corruption and their hypocrisy to Hollywood, which has enough of it. And then they want to bring it to America. Well, you had Harry and Meghan decided that they would go to Los Angeles County a couple of days ago. They would go to Los Angeles County where no one was allowed in. People who actually lived in the area that they visited weren't allowed in by the police nor the fire department. But somehow they were given a special permit. For what reason these disaster tourists, which that's what Justine Bateman called them, which is a beautiful name, by the way, they were allowed in so they could do another photo op and treat everyone there, the quote unquote, the survivors that they were there to help, like background props. Tell me that's not verbal. Tell me that isn't choreographed. That's not mourning or helping. That's branding.
Yeah. And I don't understand why we're letting these people be a thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it.
Right. Do you know a reporter for Fox?
He's a star excuse for Prince. She's an actress who was on a show for like a season or two, right?
I did a video, right? I counted up her time in Suits. It took me 2 months. Just every time I would do another video, she was it was on, I think, 8 seasons. Now my memory's fuzzy. I think 8 seasons. She was on 7 seasons. Her total acting time was 138 minutes for 7 seasons. So I'm like, that wasn't a role. That was a cameo marathon.
Wow.
That's pretty much it. She was a cameo. You know, she'd do a walk on, say a line, talk to somebody, do a scene, blah, 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 and then leave.
No, this is their grift, though, man. This is what they do because they really have nothing else to offer, right?
I think they're done after this. Did you see that from Megyn Kelly to Fox News, CNN, TMZ's TMZ, but everyone has taken them to task. Like, what the hell were you doing here? You have Meghan trying to act like she's the Mother Meghan of Montecito or the Florence Nightingale of Flames. And you're like, but there's a video, which thank God I recorded. They show them once they finish talking to the mayor and everybody, they walk away, right? But the cameras are still rolling. And there's a disabled man in a wheelchair there. And he kind of like sticks his hand out like for help. And they just walk right past him. So you're like, it's like, we're done, out of here.
Wow.
It's just, people like this drive me crazy. That's why I've been covering them for so long.
Yeah, they're phonies. They're grifters, man. I mean, and hopefully, you know, their 15 minutes is up. Who knows?
I think so. Okay, in your experience, I'll put you this and we'll wrap up the Megans, right? Her show was supposed to premiere tonight, her With Love Meghan on Netflix.
Oh, is that the cooking show or whatever?
Yeah, the cooking show where she has to hire and cast people to play her friends.
Yeah.
But really, Netflix announced last week that it's not actually a show. It's more like a 8-episode 2 a.m. style infomercial, because they are going to be pitching her products that she uses for sale in the show. Which I'm like, what's wrong with Netflix? Is that something new for streamers?
I honestly, I don't know at this point. Now, I know no one's going to watch it.
Right. So what did they do on Saturday night? I believe it's Saturday or Friday. Netflix and Walmart Wallace and her doormat put out a statement saying, because of the devastation of the California wildfires, we are postponing our show till March 4th. You know, it's supposed to be a celebration. The show is supposed to be a celebration of Southern California. And we want to, you know, so many people are suffering. We don't want to air it now. And I'm like, I went to look at the trailer. It had 160,000 dislikes the last time I checked. It's the most disliked trailer from Netflix in the last 2 years. And we're talking about Cleopatra. Worse than Cleopatra. So I think Netflix pulled it. And
well, yeah,
like,
man, because no one likes these people, man.
Right, but what I'm saying is Hollywood, we've always said, has how many phonies and grifters? But for them to, what is it about them that has triggered people? Like, are they just another grifter, or they've just taken it to a level?
Because you know what it is? They're obvious.
That's
the problem. Like, you could be a grifter if you're smooth, right? If you're good, right? If you're obvious about it, it's like the whole try hard thing, right?
Right.
And that's what they are. They're the try hards of Hollywood, and they're ambulance chasers, man. It's like they'll go wherever the action is, put in a picture, and like you said, get out of there. They don't care about the fires. They don't care about the people who lost their homes.
You know, that's what Justine Bateman called them in her ex. Disaster tourists and ambulance chasers. They're like, they don't live here, but they're coming here. What I didn't realize till this morning was how special of treatment they got, because no one was allowed in that area. Anyway, this is what gives this more weight to me. I want to watch another minute of this and then we'll move on.
And Lisa, it's not over yet. I mean, how concerned are you about the coming days?
It's not over yet. The Palisades fire is still burning. And when I went to look at it, there was still a couple houses that were burning down. I'm concerned, and I'm concerned that the questions that need to be asked about why this happened and why there was not a better response really need to be answered so that people feel safe to rebuild. And I think that's my biggest concern at this point, is that the community is able to rebuild and able to feel safe.
In terms of questions being answered, do you feel that something could have been done better?
Yes. The Santa Ynez reservoir was down and drained, and there was no plan B, so there was no water in the fire hydrants for the fire.
See, that goes back, I'm going to keep beating that like a dead horse. That goes back to the Bill Burr, right? He says they did everything great. Lisa is there. The reservoir is dry. How does that?
Yeah, Bill Burr. Look, I
like Bill Burr.
I like Bill Burr.
Is that a bad call of his, or is he just trying to? Did someone reach out to him and say?
No. It's like Tom said, though, man. He's all, look, he comes off as this really base guy, but he's always been kind of left leaning.
Okay.
So
he goes up to the line, but he plays it safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's not Chappelle.
No.
Oh no, no, not quite.
Oh, because I've caught.
I think people tried to make him out to be, but he's not.
Right. That was my point. Sorry.
No, you made a good point, Tom, because I've always, some of the clips I've seen of him, I mean, he's just annihilated. He went full base mode. That's why I was curious.
No, he like Tom said, he walks up to the line, right? But he'll never really cross it because Bill Burr likes to eat. He likes to eat. He likes nice things.
He likes his wife.
Yeah. That most importantly, his wife. Yeah.
I don't know anything about his wife. I heard she's supposed to be a radical.
No, but if you want to keep her,
yeah, she's pretty radical left. So
Nick says Bill Burr is Chappelle light.
I mean, yeah. I mean, look, Bill will call some things out, but he'll never cross the line.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
I got you. He's
like
not
he'll call out the things that are kind of safe to call out, but he won't cross the line.
And as we're slowly wrapping this up for talking about the fires, we also had Climate Warrior Leonardo DiCaprio slammed for fleeing deadly LA fires on a private jet. Yep. So
surprise.
So the guy basically,
was he supposed to leave the jet to burn?
I don't know, but when I was reading the article, I basically got the impression that as soon as he heard anything, he like left LA faster than he changes his barely legal girlfriend's diapers. I mean, the guy was just like out of there. He was gone. But it's the same thing. Like I just read Mark Hamill. So Mark Hamill. Look, I don't wish anybody ill. I don't care if I disagree with them politically or not, unless they're communists, and then God love you because the devil.
Mark Hamill's pretty close, man.
Right, but you had Mark Hamill came out and he said that now this isn't about the fire, but Hamill came out because 5 days from now, we got Return of the MAGA King. And so Hamill came out and he basically stated that Disney Star Wars star Mark Hamill bravely announces he will not watch Trump's inauguration.
So brave.
And I'm like sitting here going, but he said it about himself. And I'm like, okay, storming the beaches of Normandy. That's brave. Being a firefighter running into a burning hole. That's brave.
Oh, dude, brave for a
switching the channel.
Brave for a leftist is wearing a dress. A man wearing a dress, like that's bravery. So
switching the channel, like that's considered brave.
No,
I found it. I found it everywhere though. It wasn't like one article. Hollywood Reporter had it. Deadline had it. This grounded Hollywood News had it. Disney News. I'm like, wow.
It's no more brave than Michelle Obama saying she's not going to go. Right? It's like, so what?
But is it like they're really desperate for heroes, aren't they?
Well, they're trying to make some weird political statement, and they basically they look like babies who aren't getting their way. We expected this of Mark Hamill, though, right? I mean, we expected this of him.
I didn't expect him to announce it like he's. Like,
why not? Why didn't you expect it from him?
To announce it, I expected him not to watch, but to announce it and to call himself in a way brave.
Absolutely. Mark Hamill was delusional, man.
I know, but that's literally, you're talking about switching the channel. He may use
honestly, it's more than that, actually, because it's not like he's like forced to watch TV or the internet or anything at that exact moment in time,
right?
To where he literally would have to go out of his way to watch it, right? Like that's what I love is when people announce this shit like it's not even something you have to try to avoid, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like you'd have to go out of your damn way to watch this thing. So who gives a shit if Mark Hamill's watching it? I figured he wouldn't watch it.
So did
I. He, like most of these lefty tools, we're going to be crying in their goddamn cereal all morning. That happens. So what the fuck difference does it make to me if Mark Hamill watches it? Boo fucking who for him?
But does that mean he put out a press release, Tom?
Exactly. He must have, or said something to somebody, or somebody asked him. That's the problem with this shit. Is like, look, at the end of the day, that's a good question, because sometimes we get hard on these people, but then again, we got to remember sometimes somebody asks them these questions out of nowhere, like that guy from, what is it, Variety? That one gay, is it the gayest thing ever?
Right.
It's like a lot of those quotes come from him asking these stupid fucking questions, and we're probably a little too hard on the actors and people that are asked these questions because they're just responding to the stupid question. At the end of the day. Now, some of them like Cynthia Erivo, they love being asked those kind of questions. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes it's just a matter of you're stuck in the moment and somebody's asking you this question. What are you going to say?
No, Marie, I didn't expect him to announce it because it makes him look like a fool. I expect
if he did announce it, then it's just stupid. That's
like
my
to
point.
Me, it like we're talking about it now. I was reading comments about it. People are like, calling yourself brave for not, well, that's not brave.
The thing I don't get about Mark Hamill is he makes all these weird stances, right? And he seems to be pandering, but my question to him is, dude, who's hiring you? Right? Like, you're not going to get any more roles, because you are, sucking the teat.
Right.
So what's your play here? Right? What's your play?
I've been trying to figure that out with Mark Hamill for a while, because I know some nerds get real jumpy when I say this, but guess what? Mark Hamill has never been a movie star.
No.
He's never been anything more than a glorified voice actor in Luke Skywalker. That is it.
That is it. Unless you count Cockknocker as one of his legendary
I mean,
roles.
he's done some TV roles. He's done a few minor roles in films, but he has not had a starring role. Guyver and Corvette Summer, his only other major like starring roles, and I put major in quotations. Okay,
well, okay, you're right. He's basically
and Corvette Summer, I think, bombed at the box office.
He's never been a movie star, man. It's like he's only been Luke Skywalker, really, to most people. You know what I mean?
Okay, that brings up a quick question. How did everybody else how did Harrison Ford go from Star Wars to superstar?
Because Harrison Ford was Harrison Ford.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
He had the looks, he had the charm.
Same thing with Carrie Fisher. She had talent, and I'm not saying Mark Hamill's not talented,
but not on their level though. He wasn't
exactly. He's not on the same level as them. It was just one of those things where she even kind of got out of acting, right? Like her thing was more writing. The last 30, 40 years of her career.
She was a script doctor, right?
But Harrison Ford just happened to be one of those guys that he has that ruggedly handsome thing about him. He just happened to. He didn't even want to be an actor.
Carpenter, wasn't it? He wanted
to be a carpenter, and the only reason he was hanging around is because he was working on the set or something like that. And George was like, oh, "Come here, I need someone." It's like that's and that's kind of how it happened. And really, that's kind of how come I think Mark Hamill got the role in the first place. Because if you watch, it's out there, you can find them. Because when they did the casting for Star Wars, George was such a invert that he wouldn't even talk to the actors. So Brian De Palma was handling both casting for Carrie and Star Wars at the same time. So you have a lot of the same actors trying out in both. And there's even like things out there, like it came real close to being like William Catt and Robert Englund, and I can't remember who else it was for Carrie Williams or somebody like that was going to play Princess Leia. Like it was that close because they just couldn't find the right combo of three people together. And I think just happened to have Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher together. Their chemistry, I think, is what clicked. And Hamill just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Because let's be real, William Catt is probably a better actor than Mark Hamill. A half a dozen of the other guys that probably tried out for the role are a lot better than Mark Hamill is as far as an actor and have a presence, especially that G golly. Like William Catt had that in fucking spades.
Right.
And if you guys don't know who I'm talking about, he's the greatest American hero. He's been in some other things like that. But like, yeah, I mean, that could have been his launching pad as far as like beyond just television and stuff like that at that time. But regardless, like, yeah,
that would have been a really interesting choice though.
No, but I think he would have fit it just fine.
Oh, okay. Well,
it was just a matter of who they tried out with, and George just said, I like these three. And I think
he should be grateful then, Tom. Shouldn't he be grateful? I mean, he probably knows that about himself instead of constantly flapping his gum.
Does he though? Like, that's the thing, is he comes off quite like full of himself in a weird way.
Somebody sent me this, and I wanted to check it out real quick. It was, of course, your favorite person. Joy Reid had this to say about people's takes on the fire. I know. Every time I bring her up, Verbal's like, ugh. Yes, she has something to say. Be warned, everybody. The Reid will take the joy out of the room. One sec. And see, it even knocked my camera out. But it's getting better.
It scared your camera, George.
No shit. Here we go.
They are consistent. They want California, America's biggest state economy, because if they can take California and retrofit it with their ugly right-wing policies, the way they've ruined Florida and Texas and every other red state where poverty rates are high and education is warped and non-white immigrants, pregnant women, victimized girls, and LGBTQ folks live in fear, then the fight for permanent control of America is basically over. They can drill and frack California till the fires this past week pale in comparison. They can rip out all the forests and hand over the land to developers, Florida style. They can drive out the brown people and the black and Asian people, or just sink them into the same apartheid they've created in Texas.
Wow. I didn't know we had apartheid in Texas.
Yeah, I didn't know either. This was my first time hearing about it.
I didn't know I was part of an apartheid state, the Lone Star State, where there's no. I mean, you see how these crazy people go. I think this is their last gasp. I bet you anything that MSNBC goes the way of the dodo next year.
The only thing that she's somewhat right about is the fact that I do think that,
Which
they've already kind of set in place or plans for developers to come lowball people for their properties. Because I'm already hearing about it here. I'm already hearing about how like people are getting offers, right? All of a sudden, getting offers right now for half the price of the property right now.
What do you mean? I mean, people today are getting
right now are getting offers for their property because it's like, do I rebuild or do I just take a payment? But here's the thing: they're offering half of what the property's worth.
Well, that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
And they're being allowed to do this. So I mean,
yeah,
she's not wrong about that part, but she's crazy wrong about everything else.
But she's saying it's the right doing it. So
She's insane. She's batshit nuts.
Okay.
Gavin Newsom is allowing this to happen.
Right. Gavin, the only thing he has is good hair. Michael Rappaport did a video on that. He was tearing him a new one. We'll watch it in a second. Eric K for $5. I want my firefighter to look like an NFL linebacker. He could carry me and verbal and drag George all at the same time out of a fire.
He should look so much like Henry Cavill, I might question my sexuality.
Yeah.
You know what? With Eric K's comments, throw up some swords in the chat. We got a sharp.
You better look so heroic that I look like jump up in his arms and like, carry me out of here, big man.
Exactly.
Thank you, Eric K. Right. We got another one from Eric K for $5. To get Man of War 665 Neighbor of the Beast out of a fire, the fireman would have to be Andre the Giant. Ouch.
And I don't give a shit if he's black, white, Hispanic. Motherfucker can be
just do your job. Be able to do your job.
German for all I give a shit.
And the thing that really and the thing that really sucks about it for me is, I have friends who are firefighters, and from what they've told me is, the women that are on their squad, they have to take they basically they have to take up about 90% of their slack.
They do, yes. We talked about this.
90% of their slack they have to take up.
We talked about this. I have a relative who's a firefighter. It started in 2009 here in Houston, right? So they were pushing the first female firefighters, but not EMTs, firefighters, frontline firefighters, right? They could not pass the body dump, which is basically they had to go into the training building while it's on, fire, and they have to grab a fireman, a dummy, which is 220 pounds, with 90 pounds worth of gear. They couldn't do a fireman's lift, which is pull the dummy over the shoulder. They were dragging. The reason they failed is dragging, at least in Texas, isn't allowed because you're in a fire. You don't know what damage. You don't know what nails are coming up, board, glass. You could be tearing the person to shreds. What did they decide to do for diversity? Because remember, Texas is red. But unfortunately, our cities like Houston and Austin and Dallas are as radical liberal as you can get. So what did they do? They made the dummy 35 pounds for the women. Now, how did that help in a real fire?
See, yeah, but that's what they do though. They lower the standards, and then even with the low standards, George, they still have to take up 90% of their slack.
Right, but what are they going to get? The children and the pets? Like, seriously, how are they? No one wants to partner up with them because you don't want someone who can't help you and guard your back.
The other part of that is if the men speak up about it, from what I heard, a lot of them their pensions are being threatened.
Oh, they get their drop
if they were to speak up about it.
They do, and of course, then they're called misogynists and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Mary Mac for €2. No, is that 2 pounds? 2 pounds. Did you know they went 2 times not enough press first time? Yeah, it was nuts. You're talking about the Megans. They don't seem to get it through their heads. A, nobody wants them around. B, there is no royalty in America. It's because at one time they let it slip like, we want to be like the king and queen of Hollywood. But they didn't mean it in the old Hollywood sense. Humphrey Bogart, Lauren Bacall. They meant it to be almost like the king and queen of America. 2, everybody sees through them. Thank you for that, Mary Mac.
The thing I don't think they understand is like people were, I don't want to say fascinated. That seems like too strong of a word. They were curious about their relationship, about their marriage when she was over there. Right?
When she was in the royal family.
We don't give a shit about them being over here.
Yeah. See, that's exactly what Netflix paid $100 million. They gave them a $100 million contract. Let's see. Their first series called Harry and Meghan was their only hit. Why? Because they dished dirt, made up gossip about the British royal family. So you have a lot of royal fans who are watching it. Their next project was called Pearl, an animated series Meghan wanted to put on. And it was supposed to be about a female animated character who goes through time and gets to visit all the greatest feminist women.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Netflix canceled that. It got to script and they're like, nope. Then they had Live to Lead, which they bought a series which showed everyone, all the.
Oh wait, she had a book series about that, right? Like a children's book series about.
She had a book series, something My Table or My Chef. I don't know if she made Pearl a book. She might have. She might have. No, it was called The Bench. It was called The Bench. Then they did Invictus, but they made it all about them instead of the Wounded Warriors. Then they did the Polo series for the 1%ers in the world. Anyway. It's crap. But thank you, Mary, for that.
My question is, why is Netflix dumping all this money on them?
Well, guess what? Their contract is up in June. So they're not renewing it.
Did Netflix do that purely because of the Obamas?
See, there's been two reports. One, the Obamas introduced them to him. That they've admitted, plus Netflix, Ted Sarandos had admitted they were introduced by the Obamas. What Netflix wanted was the same thing Spotify wanted. Netflix thought they were going to get 2 years of royal content. Tell us all about the Queen, backstage, all the stuff, that whole royal industry. That's what they wanted. That's all. Spotify paid them, offered them the $25 million contract for the same thing. They only ended up walking away with $2 million because she did a podcast series, 12 episodes in 2 years, and she interviewed celebrities and didn't talk about anything royal. Harry, as a matter of fact, said he pitched an idea to Spotify that he wanted to do his podcast where he interviews Donald Trump, Putin, and the Pope and asks about their traumatic childhoods that made them the men they are.
Okay.
Like I'm saying, that they're nuts. Adam's aunt, always great to see you for 20 Australian dollars. UK Prime Minister isn't going to go either. He's not invited. Yeah, I know. But did you see how the Biden administration, they haven't allowed a couple of people from the UK over to go to Trump's inauguration. Sad fact how jealous they are. And we'll get to that in a second. Thank you, Adam's aunt. Beautiful. Adam's aunt again for 2 Australian dollars. Yes, land grab, but it's lefty WEF agenda. I'm going to look into that, Adam's aunt. I really don't know who it is. There's so many theories going around. I'm going to take a look at it. This is something that I was shocked by in the fires. They've been catching people left and right, verbal, who are lighting fires in California the last few days. They're actually starting fires while the wildfires are raging.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of speculation that, again, that these fires were started by somebody. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of cold in the year or time of the year for wildfires just to break out naturally. Okay. So I've been thinking from the beginning that these were arson.
Oh, really? Yeah, there are people who are saying that Newsom and Sacramento wanted this to go down so they could rebuild LA and take back more of the forest land and shrink it smaller, 15-minute city. Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about more real estate, more make money? Is more political or more?
If I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on, then I think there is a lot of things that are questionable about how this fire, man. Like I don't think it was natural.
Okay.
Not this time of the year. Like if this were to happen in like June or July, August, especially August, I'd be like, okay, yeah, because that's when wildfires normally happen here. But for this kind of fire to happen in January, nah.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem right.
All right, let's switch subjects for a second because I wanted to ask y'all what you think of this. I find it kind of odd. It's like every time I go watch Nosferatu, I know you didn't like it, Verbal. I loved it. But I called Tom before the show because I was just stunned. Nosferatu has grossed so far a little bit north of $136 million on a $50 million budget. But Focus Feature Studios is pulling it from the theaters and sending it to streaming on the 21st of January. Why the hell would a studio do that when they're making money? I literally have no clue why a studio would pull something that's making money.
Yeah. I have no idea. I've been saying this for the longest time, man. These studios are just shooting themselves in the foot. Like this this whole streaming thing is not working out for them.
Sadly, I know the reason why, or at least the answer to your question, and that is because Focus Features is part of Universal, and Universal, since the COVID thing, has decided that they have a specific set amount of days that a movie's in theaters, and then it goes to video on demand, and then it goes to Peacock.
I know, but they're making money, Tom.
I know, and I said this to you on the phone, man, and I don't agree with it. I don't understand it. It makes absolutely no sense. But this whole damn thing don't make sense because they've, as we've brought up before, they've killed 5 revenue streams just to build up their own streaming service. When like I told you on the phone earlier, and I've said this before, is all these, they should have, their only goal that the studio should have and the network should have had with the streaming services was to put Netflix out of business, and that's it. And what that meant was still continuing to do all their other revenue streams. But instead, they decided to sacrifice all that bullshit for this. And I agree with you, because this movie was making money. It probably could have made at least another 50 million or more at the box office. And them pulling it like this and them not having at least some kind of like stop to where it's like, okay, if the movie makes X amount more than its budget or compared to its budget percentage wise, then it stays in theaters. That makes sense to me. Having this end all be all, it's 36 days for their Universal pictures, and I think 18 days for their Focus Features pictures, which is why it's coming out so early. Andre actually predicted it, and then I heard it from one of my sources the other day that this was going to be the case. In fact, I had conflicting reports at first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so here we are already. It's going to be out Tuesday, and which is stupid because there's some markets where it hasn't even been out for a couple of weeks. And once it hits the streaming, the video on demand, so it's not going to be on Peacock yet, just to be clear, so people know it's coming to video on demand. So be able to buy it on like Apple, Amazon, Vudu, or whatever it is you use for your services for premium streaming content where you actually have to pay to view it. What we used to call pay-per-view, basically.
Right.
Or in this case, you can buy the digital version or what have you. But anyway, so yeah, so it's already going to be on the high seas come next week, so.
Just very odd for me. I've just never heard of a business, except for the government, who would stop when they're making money. Like, yeah, because you're not going to make the same amount of money they do on streaming as they are in the theaters.
I mean, unless they are making such a big killing on the video on demand, but it really isn't. Is it worth that short-term gain? I mean, you'd think that the movie, it's like they forgot that building up this, like, you know, this. Like, look at what Godzilla did.
Right.
I bet you that was one of the biggest selling discs of the year last year.
Oh yeah, I bought.
Because it built up so much anticipation for that coming out finally.
What was that, 6 months, 7 months? I mean, they
was
waited
the
like
standard old window.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Now here comes the new news.
And I didn't know if like you guys had anything more to add or subtract from that, but yeah, that's pretty much where we're at with it. It's stupid. I don't agree with it either.
I was stunned by it. Like, let it make money. It's his first film that's actually been profitable. And then you got Collider reporting that Goonies may be about to rise again at Warner Brothers Discovery. In a massive new report from Deadline, diving deep into the state of the feature side of the company's upcoming slate, plans were laid out for future franchise films, including previously announced The Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum, Practical Magic 2, and the new Matrix movie from Drew Goddard. However, the company is also reportedly eyeing new additions to 280s classics, with a new Gremlins from Christopher Columbus and a Goonies treatment. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, both of these properties have been in development for 35 years.
Right, but a new Goonies and a new Gremlins?
Both have had that.
Anybody
active development?
That's the thing. No one's asking for it.
Yeah. I mean, who remembers Goonies? Like, this generation doesn't know anything about Goonies.
Well, here's the problem, man. The people who love the Goonies and Gremlins don't want they don't want a remake, a reboot. The other ones just don't care at all. So who are they making this for?
Well, what's Matrix 5? Matrix 4 bombed. It was my first movie review that I ripped apart.
We knew Warner Brothers was going to go forward one way or another with this, and this one's not going to have anything to do with the Wachowskis. Rumor is now that Will Smith is involved somehow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine what it's like working with the Wachowskis now. Like, it seems like it'd be more of a headache than anything else, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, these guys are mentally ill. So, I mean,
yeah, they went from brothers to sisters.
Yeah, like there's no way that was natural.
Look, I don't care what anybody says. The last Matrix movie was the best Matrix sequel. It was brilliant. It was about an old man who meets up again with an old love and can't get it up anymore, so he has to pop blue pills.
That's fair.
That's good. Okay, I see that. Well, we're going to talk about popping blue pills. Did anybody
You watch the movie knowing that now? That's exactly what it is.
Did you all happen to see
Greatest romantic film of 2020s.
And we got Mexican Iron Man in here.
Brought to you by Blue Chew.
He's saying Goonies sucks. Why is Mexican Iron Man saying?
There's this thing going around where some people just don't like the film. I can tell. Well, okay, I think I know what a lot of it is. When that film came out, there was a generation of kids that were a little bit older that just didn't dig that movie because it was not their style. It was a kids movie at the time.
Right.
But I mean, there's a lot of these people I think are taking it a step too far. It's like, if you don't like it, that's cool. If you were too old when it came out to really get into it, I get it. There is this specific age group that would have been like between the ages of like 10, 11, 12, and 20 at the time for some reason that just dislike that movie. And I could kind of get it. It's probably like the way we probably felt about something annoying that was a kid's movie that came out when we were younger that we just don't even recall offhand, but
I
we all
enjoyed
probably
it.
have one. But yeah, no, growing up, I thought it was a great film. I just don't like when people are dumping on it saying the kids aren't that great as the kids are great in that movie. They're very naturalistic. You've got 4 or 5 of the top kid actors in that film at that time between Josh Brolin, Corey Feldman, Sean Astin.
Yeah.
I mean, Key Luke. I mean,
One-Eyed
Key
Willie.
Kwan.
One-Eyed Willie.
I mean, all those guys, and even the kid who plays Chunk is great. I mean, even though he didn't go on to keep acting, but I mean, he did a few things. But,
Well, even the ones that played the older teens were good.
yeah, so I was saying like Josh Brolin and Martha Plimpton
Yeah,
and stuff
God,
like
I forgot that was Brolin. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Thanos was in it. Yeah. Unbelievable.
very young Thanos. Yeah.
You know what? Look, for me, it's one of those movies where, I don't necessarily love the film, but I have fond memories of it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll never say the Goonies is a bad movie.
No,
It's a
I
send up
enjoyed
of like
it.
the Little Rascals, but it's also what I think some people don't get is it's also what that fantasy that kids have when they're playing in the backyard, but they're actually living that fantasy out.
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of what it is. And I get it. If it's not your style, it's not your style. It does have a specific kind of humor to it. The kids are a specific kind of kids of a specific era.
I
So
like
if you're already
the
an adult,
grandmother.
then-
I like the mother. I always forgot her name.
Mama
the one who was-
Fratelli?
Yeah, the one who was in, Who Shot Mama or Mama Threw Mama from the Train. That
Throw Mama from the Train, yeah.
Yeah, she was in that. But Tom had brought up the blue pills.
Anne Ramsey, I think, is her name. If I remember
Anne
right.
Ramsey? Cool.
I think that's it.
Well, you said blue pills, and it immediately made me think of Biden. So, because today
Can I sniff your hair?
there was an announcement that while you have one person who deals in fiction, first of all, Joe Biden put out a letter from the White House. It's his final farewell letter from the White House to the United States of America. And then he put out a fact sheet, which was 26,000 words. It's like a novella of revisionist history, of everything they said they did. They didn't like, they said they made the greatest economy in the history of the United States. They pulled us out of the greatest depression in the history of the United States since the Great Depression. All these beautiful things. And of course, he took shots at Trump. But while he was playing in fantasy land, you had Donald Trump negotiated a ceasefire between Hamas and Israel and to get the hostages back. So the press went to ask Biden about this. And you can see there's 2 videos about it.
Thank you. Gets credit for this, Mr. President, you or Trump?
Is that a joke? Oh, thank you.
If those hostages aren't back, I don't want to hurt your negotiation. If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East. And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone. All hell will break out. I don't have to say anymore, but that's what it is.
Thank you.
Gets credit for
Now, just remember that where he, you have Biden who's saying, like, are you joking? Because he wants to claim credit for it. Okay. A half hour later, just a half hour later, you have Biden's own person from the State Department make this statement.
When it comes to the involvement of President-elect Trump's team, it has been absolutely critical in getting this deal over the line. And it's been...
This is the guy who's supposed to be in charge of our country, not this guy, Mr. Blue Poppin' Biden. Yeah, blue pill popper. Come on. He's telling the press that he wants to claim credit for it. And you have his own State Department. It's like, well, no. Trump was the one who did it. Well, while all that was happening at the same time, we also had the confirmation hearings. Did you check any of those out today, either of y'all?
Nope.
Oh, all right. Well,
no, I did, because I remember watching the Nancy Mace fight. So
you caught that one?
Oh, that, yeah, of course.
I haven't seen that video. I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it yet. But this is, I want to pull a clip from Heg's nomination the other day.
The wokeness comes not from the uniform ranked, Senator, but from the political class. On day one, on January 20th, when President Trump is sworn in, he will issue a new set of lawful orders. And the leadership of our services will have an opportunity to follow those lawful orders or not. Those lawful orders will not be based on politics. They will be based on readiness, accountability, standards, and lethality. That is the process by which leaders will be judged. And accountability is coming, because everybody in this room knows if you're a rifleman and you lose your rifle, they're throwing the book at you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a general who loses a war, you get a promotion. That's not going to happen in Donald Trump's Pentagon. There will be real standards for success.
By the way, we're going to be holding an inaugural stream at 9:30 a.m. Monday, starting Monday morning. We're going to be covering the historic occasion. But I love that. That's my favorite clip from Hegseth. He had a couple more, but he's basically saying, strategy wins wars, not wokeness, not sensitivity training.
Right, but what they want to focus on is him saying that women shouldn't, serve in combat. And it's like, you know what, though? He's absolutely right. In the same way, most women probably shouldn't be firefighters. They shouldn't be on the front lines of a war either.
I agree.
Like, stop watching movies, man. Like, we're talking real life. Women should not be out there. They just shouldn't.
Come on. How many movies? I think that's the problem. Is so many people have been programmed by seeing these 100-pound girls kick grown men's asses. We've seen it. Ahsoka.
They never see the reality of it, though, man. It's like, and that's what pisses me off. And I think they do that for two reasons. Number one, they do it because, the whole feminist and girl power, blah, blah. They do it for that reason, sure. Right. I think they also do it, though, man, in a more sneaky way to try to blur the gender lines, right? Like, if you're a trans, man or a trans woman, it doesn't matter because all men and women are built equally, right? So we can do the same jobs, we can do and they try to blur these lines when there's clearly a difference between a man and a woman physically.
Yep, there always is, always. And here's what you were talking about.
As Secretary of Defense, will you support women continuing to have the opportunity to serve in combat roles?
Senator, first of all, thank you for your service, as we discussed extensively as well.
It's my privilege.
And my answer is yes, exactly the way that you caveated it. Yes, women will have access to ground combat roles, given the standards remain high, and we'll have a review to ensure the standards have not been eroded in any one of these cases. That'll be part of one of the first things we do at the Pentagon is reviewing that in a gender neutral way, the standards, ensuring readiness and meritocracy is front and center. But absolutely, it would be the privilege of a lifetime to, if confirmed, to be the Secretary of Defense for all men and women in uniform who fight so heroic. They have so many other options.
Here it comes.
They decide to put their right hand up for our country. And it would be an honor to have a chance to lead them.
What he continues, I guess that clip didn't show it fully. What he continues to say is the fact that they're going to reset the standards.
Good.
To be one standard for everybody. Because what happened over the last 4 years especially is they dropped all the standards for combat roles down to what women could handle. So
let's see what they argue on that one, because if they say that all these women that are men now and vice versa, they should be able to live up to standards.
So what he's saying is they're going to raise them all back up what to the core used to have. And he's like, if a woman can pass that, cool. If she can do what they do,
and I'm fine with that. If she could do what the man does, fine. If she can, carry the same weight, if she can, handle herself in combat, if her being on the battlefield isn't going to be a distraction, then fine. Let them join.
I agree. Where was that one? Also, Pam Bondi was being
because really quick. I mean, we gotta be honest about this shit, man. I mean, we've all seen the videos, right, of female cops trying to stop a male assailant, right, and him just getting away from them, or him fighting them off, right. And there's nothing that these two women
there's
can
enough
do
for a Benny Hill cut at this point.
Oh my God! But
Yes.
how many men have a tough enough time with criminals?
Right, and you got two women trying to stop a huge a criminal that's 6'4".
Yeah, it's not going to happen unless they shoot them, and then they're because of the way that they're trained today, unless they have a weapon, and even then, no, it's reality. Men and women are built differently. We do different things. We have different strengths and we have different weaknesses. Men have always been the protectors and the defenders because that's what we're physically built for: hunter and gatherers.
And we have to accept this kind of shit, man. I know for a fact I would never, even in my prime, would I have ever been an NBA player. Right? Like I'm 6 foot even, I could barely dribble the ball. I know my limits. I know I believe it or not, I'm actually bad at basketball, y'all. But I know I can never have made it. But you know what I mean? It's like you got to know what your limits are, man. It's like, and I'm a guy, so I mean, just to say that these women could do the same things a man can do is ridiculous.
Right. And there is, funny enough, I think when we return to some basic common sense, the world will start reaching an equilibrium again. We've been so far off in fantasy land, verbal. Everything is tilted on its side. I mean, look at this. We're talking about a wildfire in California. You're talking in one of the coldest parts of the year. Right? And what are people questioning? You have an assistant chief of diversity who's saying, if you're stuck, if your husband needs for me to pick him up and haul him out, he's in the wrong place. They have to redesign answers that aren't based on common sense or logic because it doesn't fit the insanity.
No, they cared more about optics, right? They cared more about, being able to say, we had the first this, we had the first lesbian chief, we had the first woman, blah, 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 right? It was all about the optics. They didn't care about, functionality and whether or not these women could do the job. But
optics cost lives. Optics have cost
lives.
You
know what, George? I would say that even though this fire is a tragedy, there is some good that's come out of this.
Okay.
Right? Because I think some eyes are open now. I think people in California, the super liberal are starting to kind of realize that,
I'll tell you what, in the past year, I've really started believing in God.
Yeah. Man, maybe now they're starting to realize that, we've done the wrong things here.
There are basic rules to life, I believe. Basic universal rules, not George's rules, but they're basic ones. Facts. You look outside the window and you see the sun is up. You go, it's daytime. Someone turns around and go, no, that's nighttime. No. We've fallen too long. For too long, we've had people redefining the world based on how they feel, based on what they believe they see.
Right.
That's crazy. What is this, Tom?
Oh, this was just more of, I don't know what you guys are talking about. The Shequalizer showed us that women can fight.
Oh.
With scarves and everything. Look at that. Look at that. She just kicking ass.
Yeah, because that's what they do.
Y'all know that she can't move that fast. That ain't even her.
No, it's not.
She moves about the same as Steven Seagal.
You know what's probably hilarious about this is a $9 says that her stuntman is a man. How much you want to bet?
Oh, with that build? Yeah.
Yep.
I agree with you. Let me take a couple of these super chats. Adam Zan for another $5 Australian. Check out Neil Oliver for information. Yeah, watch him. He's fantastic. WEF, UN, WHO agendas, etc. Yep, I like Neil Oliver. Thank you very much, Adam Zan. And then we got Benjamin Jansen. How you doing, my friend? Great seeing you last time on the member stream. Hope you come this week on Saturday. You've been a member for 3 months. That is awesome. Hey, yeah, I guess it's been 3 months now. I love it. 3 months. And it's been a year since I've been streaming. Gonna have a anniversary celebration this Sunday. We're gonna have a little bit of fun. Susan Dolan for $2. Arson to loot rich people's houses. I keep doing that lately. Reach. I don't know where that comes from. Must be the Greek in me. Arson to loot rich people's houses. There's been a lot of looting. There has been. You wouldn't think so, but there has been. I've been reading about it every morning. It's nuts. But they had that during Katrina as well. Every time you have a big natural disaster, the looters always come out. In other words,
Yeah, but the thing that pisses me off, George, about the whole looting thing is the fact that, Newsom's taking this hard stance on looting, right? This hard stance on people committing crimes. I'm like, you motherfucker, you legalized crime here in California, right?
Yep,
as long as you can steal over $900 worth of stuff, you're fine. So, and all of a sudden now you want to be tough on crime. You want to be tough on looters.
Did you see that video? What was it, 3 or 4 weeks ago, of those two girls who went into kind of like a gallery. They went to a mall and they stole a few things, and then the police picked them up and arrested them, and they were in the back seat, and they're handcuffed and they're in the back seat, and they're like, we don't understand what we did. They're like, you stole. And they're like, what? They're looking at each other like, what? Because they had done this for so long.
Yeah.
It had become part of their life. They'd walk in, grab what they want. Nobody stopped them. And that was it.
No, all of a sudden, California wants to get tough on crime, right?
How long will it last? That's the thing. This is the discussion Derek was saying on Sunday, because we were having this debate, because I believe as you do, Verbal. I was like, this fire is going to be transformative in more ways than one. I think a lot of people are going to be waking up. He's like, yes, George, they will, but there are just some people which are vote blue forever. They don't care what happens. They don't care if their homes burn down. They will never blame anyone else, and they'll always vote blue. Do you think that's as true today as it was, let's say, before the fire?
That's kind of hard to say, man. I think there are those people who will. Here's the thing.
The feeling in the air, I think
the feeling of the air in the air is a lot more people have been sobered, right? About what's been going on here. The only problem I see, though, again, and I keep saying this, man, is like guys like Newsom, Bass, they'll get the votes as long as California stays a sanctuary city for women who want to either kill or mutilate their babies. Gotcha. Right? As long as California stays that, right? Even with this fire, even with the mishandling, a few people woke up. I don't think it's enough for them to change the state, though.
Okay. So, and that's what Michael Rappaport, that's a good point. Let me bring it up real quick. That is what Michael Rappaport was having a fit about today, because Newsom yesterday announced, well, actually, he pulled the legislature together in Sacramento to come together with a plan to dedicate $50 million to stop Trump's deportation policies. California's still burning, but Newsom decided it's a good time. We all take a little bit break, have a cup of coffee, let everything burn while we devise a plan to stop Trump's policies. It was, see, to me, something like that is eye-opening. I look at it and I'm like, okay, everybody should be told that news. Everybody should be able to understand what's going on while someone's home is burning, while they have lost everything. That Newsom is focusing on Trump's presidency. Still has 5 days left instead of getting out there in the trenches and helping everyone. So that's nuts for me. Here it is. Michael Rappaport has gone under a tremendous change. Have you noticed that over the last year? This guy used to say the most vile things about Donald Trump. I mean, you can't repeat them in the world. I'm afraid God would punish me, let alone on air. But, and here he is.
Good hair. Gavin with the good hair. Newsom. You thought you were going to be president. You're never, ever, ever going to be president, Gavin with the good hair. I don't care how slicked back it is. I don't care. Like you got your aviator glasses and you stand up straight. And I'm Gavin with the good hair. Little Nancy's good old little nephew. Aunt Nancy, she told me this, and she told me when you're speaking, I speak with my hands, and sometimes I start doing shoulder gestures. Gavin with the good hair, you have overseen two of the most important cities in California, and you've ran them, nosedived them into the ground. San Francisco is apocalyptic. I've been there. I've seen it with my own eyes. You ran that gorgeous, iconic, totally unique American city into the ground. It's a dump pot, a cesspool. I've seen it with my own eyes. Why you did this, why you let this happen, I don't care what the reason or rationale is. You did it. Beautiful, fantastic San Francisco, here I come. Why would anybody want to go to San Francisco now? It's scary.
And when he comes down here, otherwise it's 4 minutes.
He's not wrong.
No.
Now to be a little bullshit artist, Gavin with the good hair. You're done, Gavin with the good. Talking about we want a Trump-proof California. How about fireproof in California? You're talking about Trump this, Trump that. He's not even president. I don't know what he said. This is on you. This is on you. You're the governor. You want a Trump-proof California, fireproof California. You're done.
The only thing that Newsom has fireproofed is his hair. That's it. That guy is toast. His political career is over. But I hope Karen Bass's career is over. I hope that Assistant Diversity Chief's career is over. I hope the head of the Water Board's career is over. They all deserve it. They all deserve it to be gone. Mary Mack for another £2. UK, YouTube, CH, War of the Old World, British Tales. Thank you for that, Mary. Always with the insight and sharing the wisdom and where to go look for it. Appreciate it, my friend. And then we got Donna Hergenrether. How you doing, Donna? Great to see you. For $10, Women in Combat needs to know one major thing. Our enemies kill men and humiliate women. Horrible things happen to women if captured. That's gospel. She knows. You know, there are a lot of women who serve in roles they've been serving in fighting, since their men have, in different ways. But when Biden first took over, this is something people have forgotten. Do you know one of the first acts he did for the Air Force is he said, women do not have women. He goes, we need to have fighter pilots, women, to have maternity gear. So when they're in the jets, not like maybe they shouldn't be in the jets when they're, 7-8 months pregnant. No, we need to have the right maternity outfit for them. Thank you, Donna. Wow. So it's been crazy today. And then you had Michael Rappaport. Plus we had this, which I thought was funny. Kind of lighten things up a little bit. Some people weren't understanding Gen X. I love seeing the Gen X videos sometimes.
Is Gen X okay? No, seriously, are you guys okay?
What kind of stupid fucking question is that? We're fine. It's 2023. This shit is a cakewalk. We got like 900 TV channels and Prozac. Our kids are grown or almost grown, and our parents are either dead or too old to threaten to kill us every day. I brought you into this world. I could take you out of it. Our boomer parents could turn anything violent. Hey, Dad, can I get a paper towel? I'll paper your towel. We didn't have anti-bullying campaigns. Our parents bullied us. If we got hurt, like really hurt, our parents were pissed. Our parents would leave us places all the time. They'd forget us at the store, and there's no way to get a hold of them. So you just have to sit there and hope they came back for you. The school had to take our pictures and fingerprint us in case we got kidnapped. We were like 30 years old when we were 12. Already smoking cigarettes, drinking our parents' liquor. We are older than Google. We spent 30 years taking a dump without a cell phone, and no one had to tell us not to eat fucking laundry detergent. So yeah, I mean, we're okay. We're okay.
Is Gen X okay?
I think Gen X is one of the best generations.
She's not wrong. She's not wrong.
Hey, what do you think, Tom? Gen X all the way. Tom disappeared. I think Tom disappeared.
Yeah, no, she's not wrong, man. We were feral. We were feral, man. We had to like raise ourselves,
We did, but it made us strong, Verbal. That's why we're able to be here today. It was the fact that we had to learn on our own. We had our parents who loved us, but they allowed us to grow up.
Oh, dude, when she said like our parents got angry when we got hurt, I felt that. I was like, oh my god.
But it's like my mom had the house shoe from hell. You know, it's Greeks. There was this Greek comedian once who used to say, you know, my mother would throw that house shoe like a boomerang. And I think Eddie Murphy did it once.
Oh yeah.
But it's very similar. We're like Greek women, Greek moms, like blah, 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 blah. I mean, she just nails you with it. But yeah, we grew up that way. Funny enough, it was after the new year. I had gotten a little cold. I gotten sick and I was gone for about a week. But a couple of days ago, I started doing kind of like where you clean up. We have this tradition in Greece where when it's the new year, you want to get rid of everything that's broken. If you're not going to fix it, you get everything that's broken, something that's ratty, you either repair it or when you have the money, you replace it. So I was going through everything. And I don't know how this survived, but I found an old box of Rescon. Did you ever hear of Rescon? It was an allergy medicine from the 90s. Let me just say, I had flashbacks. Okay, Rescon was a black pill, right? I got sick once and the doctor gave me this. My sinuses are going crazy. Everything was insane. It was the one time that I was simultaneously feeling the worst I've ever felt, and I couldn't stop moving. It was like speed. I had cotton mouth. I'm sitting here having heart palpitations, and this was like real allergy medicine. It was called Rescon, and on the box, it's a yellow box. It has a picture of a guy with his huge nose, you know, dripping and then dry on the other side. And I was remembering, you know, I never worked more in my life in 1 week on Rescon while I was sick than any other time. And so I was looking at this little box, and I was like, it's like 20 plus years old. I'm like, sure, they don't make medicine like they used to.
Hey, they don't make Coca-Cola like they used to, apparently.
No, but it was nuts. I mean, you got to understand, it's like I could not talk. My girlfriend would call me up. She goes, "Hey, George, how you doing?" I'd be like, "What's going on? What's up? How you? Where do you want to go?" It was like I was on speed. And they got rid of it. They got rid of it.
It was crazy. That was back when, like, you know, medicine had regulation, man. Like these days.
Yeah, I know, but it was like it dried you up like that. Still to this day, nothing has dried me up like that. Nothing. I felt great even when I was sick. Flying blind on a rocket cycle for $5. Super sticker. Oh, thank you for that. It's a little fox saying good job. Love it. We also had Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi, who is going up to be confirmed for Trump's attorney general. The Dems tried to take a whack at her a few times.
It would not be appropriate for a prosecutor to start with a name and look for a crime. It's a prosecutor's job to start with a crime and look for a name, correct?
Senator, I think that is the whole problem with the weaponization that we have seen the last 4 years and what's been happening to Donald Trump. They targeted Donald Trump. They went after him, actually starting back in 2016. They targeted his campaign. They have launched countless investigations against him. That will not be the case if I am Attorney General. I will not politicize that office. I will not target people simply because of their political affiliation. Justice will be administered.
Wait a minute. She's 59. No, she can't be. Toxic Waltz, are you serious? Verbal, is she 59? No, he's messing with me.
59?
No, can't be.
Even-handedly throughout this country. Senator, we've got to bring this country back together. We've got to move forward or we're going to lose our country.
Yeah, I think the concern is that weaponization of the Justice Department may well occur under your tenure. And we want to make sure that that's not the case, that you remain independent, that you remain able to and willing to tell the president no when that's necessary for.
What he's really saying is look, we don't want to get rid of all of our bondage videos. Are you really going to come after us after Trump gets sworn in and if we confirm you?
Right.
That's it. She looks 35. Yeah, that's what I thought. So what do you think of Pam Bondi? I'm all for Hexeth. Pam Bondi, I'm a little nervous about.
I'll be honest. I don't know enough about her to make a decision.
Yeah, I'm nervous about her because of the Trayvon Martin case. That's what I'm nervous about. If I remember correctly, she was the one who was prosecuting, and the way she was handling that. We got James for $5. That video reminds me of the Generation Gap video with a guy bumping into a wall and depicting different generations' reactions. I got to check that out. Thank you for that. Also, we found out today, as we're bouncing back and forth between the political and the cultural and Hollywood, because they're all the same. They're all connected. We had, where'd you go? Oh, we had the trailer, or did you see the Daredevil trailer came out?
Yeah, man, it looks good.
It does.
It looks good. I'm allowing myself to have hope.
I know that's dangerous, right? It's dangerous, but I liked it. I'm going to share it. So I'm going to stop it every few seconds so we didn't get smacked by YouTube.
Thank you for finding the time. I will admit, it's not entirely unpleasant seeing you again.
I'm not getting any of those vibes from that Indian show, Echo.
You know what, man? I did myself a favor and I skipped that show. So so even if they reference it, I won't get it, and I don't care. I'm not going to watch Echo just to watch Daredevil.
No, but you're lucky that you skipped it. I reviewed it, and it destroyed the Kingpin. So do not watch it.
I and I knew it would. That's why I didn't bother.
A lot of time has passed. By the look of it, you've come up in the world. I could say the same about you. The mayor serves his city. I can see you're not entirely convinced. Can you blame me? I can't shake the feeling that you're gaming the system. Why did you stop being a vigilante? The line was crossed. It's hard to come to terms with a violent nature.
Wow.
And I mean, so far, everything about it so far, man, honestly, it looks good. And so I'm allowing myself to have a little hope. I can clearly see that they're just erasing Echo and She-Hulk from continuity.
Hold on. Mexican Iron Man's answering my question. Mexican Iron Man, our intrepid producer. I miss you, brother. For $2, George Bondi was born November 17th, 1965. Yes, she's 59. Well, she doesn't look it. She's pretty. Nice. Blonde. Well, that's good to know. So, Toxic Waltz, you are correct. You're always right. Thanks, Docs. And we got Eric K for $5. They want to be able to weaponize the DOJ and make sure they get no one investigating them. Yeah. I hope this time, if they've done anything wrong, that Trump takes the hammer to them. Old-fashioned style.
Hating the power it has over us. This city can't go unchecked.
They really did a good job rewriting this, because I remember when it was first announced. Remember how they were talking about after She-Hulk? This was
man, they were going to completely ruin it, man.
This feels like Netflix Daredevil.
I almost wonder if it's the same crew that did the Netflix show.
Well, Stephen DeKnight, if I'm correct, did Netflix Daredevil, didn't he?
You might be right about that one.
And I know that he's working with the House of Asher, which I couldn't believe.
The House of Usher?
Asher. No, you remember Spartacus that he did 10 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
You remember that guy Asher?
Yeah.
That well, it's coming out on Stars. It's another Spartacus series, but they're saying what happens if that character wasn't killed at the end of the Spartacus series. So it's called the House of Asher.
Got it.
Yeah. He's bringing it back. So I hope he worked on this. I don't know who's behind it.
Well, I do like the fact that it looks like they're bringing everybody back for this. So Foggy, Karen is back, Bullseye's back, which is really cool.
I like this Bullseye, but what about Punisher? Because I haven't seen this.
Yeah, Punisher's coming back too.
Sweet.
Sometimes Peace needs to be broken. And chaos must reign.
Oh.
Am I putting the hatchet down? I was raised to believe in grace. But I was also raised to believe in retribution.
Oh, I like the way this is going.
You know what's crazy, man? I kind of feel like at this point, like he's Matt Murdock, right? Like I can't see anyone else playing Matt Murdock.
I agree.
I mean, I probably could, but at this point, Charlie Cox is just that guy. But the same thing though with John Bernthal, man. Like I don't know if I need another Punisher. I think he's perfect
I
as the
hope they don't
Punisher.
get him. I remember watching an interview with him after the Punisher came out, and he was saying there are 3 things that are the most important to him in his life: his wife, his child, and the Punisher. Like that, and he's always been a fan of the Punisher. So after the Netflix series was done, and they were asking him, "Would you ever, work with Disney? Would you ever go?" He says, "I would, as long as they didn't change a single thing about it." Because he's like, "I'm not going to." I'm not going to change the way I approach the Punisher. Like they can't adapt.
Well,
it for
he was some of
Disney.
the best parts of Daredevil.
Hell yeah.
You know?
Hell yeah. Absolutely. And it looks like they're going to keep it, but this doesn't look like it can work on Disney Plus the way they've set it up.
Well, I mean, Disney Plus is starting to do more, adult. When I say adult, I just mean violent material. We're starting to see more blood on Disney Plus now. So
I haven't watched it in a while. I can't remember.
well, even Echo was
it was too
pretty
campy.
violent-ish.
How you got a one-legged Indian hopping around?
I know. It's
see, that's the crap that they sell. Yes, this one-legged Indian woman can kick the butt of everybody.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, man, years from now, we're gonna look back at that time, at this time, and we're gonna be like, what were we smoking? How did we let this happen? Right?
Hey, oh God. Hey, thoughts on There Boating with Nigel. How you doing, Nigel? Great to see you. Congratulations. He hit over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Congrats, man.
I love it. Giggity. I see that you're here. James, hope you're doing well. Chris B. But so what do you think about that, Tom? We just watched the Daredevil trailer. I'm excited. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, it looks pretty decent. I'm glad they decided to revise it and go the smart route. At least it seems at this point. We'll have to wait and see if it turns out really well. But
is that Stephen tonight?
I don't know if they brought him back necessarily, but at least it does seem like they're using the existing series as canon still. Unlike and it almost seems like they might be decanonizing She-Hulk and stuff, but we'll have to wait and see if it actually does or not. But
yeah,
it doesn't mean they necessarily even have to really mention any of that crap. But the trailer does say that he has been inactive or whatever since season 3 or whatever. So it kind of implies. So I don't know. We'll see. 18 episodes, so it's almost like a actual show.
18 episodes. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's more than Netflix ever put out. I mean, in their seasons.
Wait, for one season, it's 18 episodes?
I don't know if they're going to split it up or anything, but yeah. Yep.
That's almost
actually supposed to
unheard
be
of
more
these
than
days,
that.
man.
Actually, the original report I think was like 20 or 22. I can't remember what. But it was like weird because I'm like, holy crap, this is like a regular actual show.
Yeah, that's like old school, like network TV kind of.
Well, it makes
shit,
you
man.
wonder if they're not setting it up so they can throw it on ABC at this fall or something. Makes
Maybe.
you wonder.
Cool.
I'm not surprised that there's a pattern already forming with like Moana becoming a theatrical release now, and basically nobody's going to convince me otherwise that the Mando Grogu movie isn't basically Favreau's season 4 or whatever of Mandalorian. Basically,
I hope not, because season 3 was just
no, but I think it's
crap.
what he was gonna do basically for the most part.
Come on, they cucked Mando in his own series, gave away the weapon to the girl, turned her into a.
That was the worst.
Boss. Come on, that was.
Man, you talk about a letdown
I
of
didn't
the show.
I didn't even finish season 3, so.
Oh,
And
don't
you see-
bother. Don't
and you
bother.
see Ahsoka the other day, they replaced Ray Stevenson with the Game of Thrones actor to come back. I was like, ay, 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 ay. Well, here, I'm going to share this last
Wait. For Ahsoka?
For Ahsoka, remember Ray
'Cause Ray
Stevenson?
Stevenson's
He
died.
passed
Yeah.
away.
Right, but for you mean the second season or for
Yeah, for the second season, because they want the character to continue.
Oh, right. So they brought no, I forgot he just kind of wandered off at the end of the last.
Yeah, he wandered off into a Tolkien film. He had
I'm like, where are you going, man? Like,
you had the two statues. I'm like, what did they? They wandered into Peter Jackson and Tolkien's universe. I'm like,
I get the guy died, but that's how you're going to end his storyline? Him wandering around Mordor?
Oh yeah. Here's the stars one I was telling you about. This was when Lucy Lawless in the original Spartacus decided to go all she's like, well, I waited my whole life to, I remember her interview. She's like, I waited my whole life to do nude scenes in films, and nobody ever asked me. So then her husband was one of the co-producers. He asked her, and she did half the show next.
It's funny because she has a connection with the Neil Gaiman story.
Really?
Lucy Lawless does, yeah.
Oh, she was right. That's right. She was friends with Gaiman's wife.
Yeah. It's just in passing that she's mentioned, but she is part of it, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Lucy Lawless has been known to get a little wild.
The plot thickens, man.
Well, no, all it was the chick, one of the chicks that's accusing Gaiman of stuff was actually enamored with his wife, that at the time Amanda Palmer, who happened to meet on the street hanging out with Xeno, the warrior princess. But she didn't give a shit about Lucy Lawless. She was all into Amanda because I guess she had seen her at some feminist speech.
Right.
And that's like the kicking off of her iteration of what happened and how she got involved with Gaiman. Yeah.
There was a paragraph in that article in Vulture, which of course is now behind a paywall, but so I had to load it up on Archive. There was a paragraph where Gaiman, where is it? He turns around and he says, hold on one second. I'm looking it up. Here, I'll play this first and while I look that up so I don't let everyone wait.
Yeah, I didn't mean to derail that.
No, you didn't at all. No.
Begin.
Well, I mean, if it's anything like the original show.
Yeah, so that's what they're doing. They want to bring it back. It's just I couldn't stand his character. I mean, the actor was that good that I could not stand anytime he was on screen. I'm like, just kill the fucker and get it over with. So he's a pretty decent actor. Where is this? Here we go. And it was from, I'm just going to pop it up here. It was the Vulture article. Gaiman is if any of this is true, because these are all allegations, I have no idea, even though it's multiple women. Gaiman, it would be a very, very sick puppy. That's his wife, was his wife. And this is the woman who is claiming that she was abused by him. And if it's true, it's very sad. That's her. And Gaiman goes on to a point where he's basically saying, you know, whatever your fetish is, it doesn't matter what your fetish is. As long as it's between two consenting adults, you know, beat, eat, do, it's all cool. And I'm like, okay, that is a nutcase. No two ways about it. But they're comparing him. J.K. Rowling came after him. Verbal. J.K. Rowling has come after him. I think the entire industry is going to be turning against him, because this would be about the sixth girl. Two of them had filed police reports, because I am always a little weird when you hear about these stories like 10 or 15 years later, and they're like, did they tell anybody? No. Did they tell the police? No. And I'm always, but when they told the police originally, then I start to go, okay. So they tried to stop. They tried to help people. They tried to get this person
right
locked up. Then to me, it has more weight.
I mean, you know what? And I don't know, maybe I'm just a skeptic now, but none of this stuff ever surprises me.
No, it doesn't surprise me.
Like, it never surprises me.
But he would go around. You've seen his pictures before, where he would go around and go like UK's biggest feminist, world's biggest feminist. But
they always do that, man. Joss Whedon, remember him? He was like the self-proclaimed male feminist, the first, right? And then you hear all the stories about him later, right?
Yeah, it
doesn't surprise me. Any guy who calls himself a male feminist is usually the opposite of it.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. In their closet, they got the gimp, and it's like, you put some lotion on. Yeah, no.
Yeah, and anyone who calls himself a male feminist.
I agree with you. You shared this, and I wanted to share with the audience. I saw it in your Twitter.
We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name. And it's appropriate. It's appropriate. We're going to be...
I like that. I really like that he's doing that. It's the same way that he wants to buy Greenland. He wants to take over Greenland. You see all the radicals that are flipping out. You can't do that. The reason is because the Chinese are trying to push their way in there, because it has one of the richest deposits in the minerals required for batteries, for the electric vehicles, and for power plants. And he's like, we need to get there. We need to be able to have that. I think what did they say? Greenland has 65,000 people.
Yeah.
And I think Trump uses this as the art of the deal. Obviously, it's the same way with the Panama Canal,
I think at this point, man, like I think I've understand, or at least more than I did. I understand Trump's I get his vibe, right? Like I think for the most part he says these wild things, but I think he actually does have a real solid plan.
Oh yeah,
for the wild things that he says, you know what I mean? I think he says the wild things just to troll the media and to troll the left, but I think he actually has like solid plans that he's just not,
I agree,
divulging just yet. But I'm not concerned.
No, not at all. I'm excited. I am excited for next Monday.
Yeah,
I'm excited for next.
I'm ready to move this ship forward, man. I'm ready for Trump to take the wheel, and I'm ready just to enjoy the ride at this
golden age. I'm ready for golden age, but there's going to be a lot of pushback. We're going to cover next time, because I thought we covered a lot of good stuff. Next time I want to cover what Oh My God Media had revealed last night. Did you hear any of that? You have people in the State Department, you have people in the Department of Defense who are visiting and meeting with retired generals, and how they're going to
I heard about that.
Sabotage Trump's administration.
Yeah, look, here's the thing, man. Like, people thought the battle was over once Trump won. It's like, no. It just starts beginning. Now the fighting starts. Now the bullshit starts. You know what I mean?
100%. Well, cool. Thank you, Verbal, for coming. Thank you, Tom. Yeah. Please tell everybody where they can find you, Verbal, and what you're coming up with next.
Yeah, guys. I will be having some videos coming out very soon. I had to take a bit of a hiatus, but it's things are kind of getting back to normal now. So we'll have some videos up very soon, and I will be talking about Miss 1000 Men. Probably in my next video. So, but other than that, you guys can catch me here with George. You can catch me on Saturday nights with Yellow Flash and those guys, with Chris Gore and the boys on Versus. So yeah, I'm all over the internet. I'm all over YouTube.
Always. And Sunday with Slayer Nation, we're having a celebration.
Oh, and Slayer Nation, of course. Yes.
And I didn't tell you, who we're having in 2 weeks?
No.
Tyrone Magnus will be joining.
Oh, okay.
Tyrone Magnus will be joining us.
Very cool, man. I never did a show with him, so
that's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of surprise guests this year. Tom, what you got coming up this week?
Well, I got the physical media show later on tonight. Otherwise, just the morning show, Friday, Midnight's Edge After Dark tomorrow. Typical hangings out if I show up.
Cool. I love your shows. I love them. I love them. Yeah, we were going to have the celebration last week, but I thought about it and I kept thinking, with the fires and the way they were so fresh, and Verbal wasn't here and he was suffering. You had Robert Meyer Burnett, Chris Cora, and family. Too many family and friends are there. I just felt like the wrong time to celebrate. We're going to have our member stream this Saturday. We're going to have a celebration anniversary stream for Slayer Nation this Sunday. And Monday, we're going to be staying here at 9:30 a.m. We're going to have Ron Coleman, great constitutional attorney, Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen, more than likely Gabe El-Taib, and a few other guests. Hopefully, I don't know. We'll see if Verbal or anybody else joins us, but we're going to be covering the inauguration from the start till the president is sworn in, and we can hear his executive orders as they roll up, because he says as soon as he hits the White House, he's got 30 of them ready. I always read all the super chats. Absolutely. Mary Mack for £2. The blood of Dawn Walker, game 2. Everyone's eyes off the sky. Oh, I haven't checked that out. Have you heard of that, Verbal?
I haven't.
Hold on. Maybe it means something. Hold on. Thank you, Mary Mack, for all your amazing support. Blood, I gotta check that out. The blood of Dawn Walker, too. Okay. I will we'll take a look at that. Thank you for that, Mary. Incredible. It looks really good. The blood of Dawn Walker. Wait, will there be a Sunday stream? Absolutely, there's going to be a Sunday stream this Sunday. Yep, we're going to have a Sunday anniversary celebration for Slayer Nation. Absolutely. And by the way, right before I had gotten sick, right around Christmas, I had started working out. I've already lost 4 pounds.
Very cool.
I wanted to do it before the new year because, everybody does it at the beginning of the new year, do a resolution. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. So I was like, going to start early. Going to stick to it. So every week, I'll give you all updates to get stronger, fitter, better. All right. Slayer Nation's new motto for this year, we're going to have, don't ask permission, just sharpen your swords and stand tall. Remember, if you don't want to, if you want to make the rules, not serve them, stand tall every time you look in the mirror. All you have to remember is that we're fighters with one unbreakable rule. We never bow down. We never bend the knee. Always forward. I just got to find the outro. It's always great when there's someone in the background. Okay. Are you going to set it as the outro? Are you? Oh, this is crazy. Oh, well, it's just one of those days. Well, I love you guys. Until I see you Saturday and then Sunday. Love you all.